Thanks for joining us once again for an update from the city of New Hope. A lot happening in the city, and let's go to the source to find out more about what's going on and what's coming up. That is the mayor, John Elder. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
I'm well, Dave. How are you?
I am very good. We're
Good.
recording on Monday, September 15th, and a long day for the mayor today because there is a work session tonight. And give us a little overview. It sounds like the focus is on the budget.
It absolutely is. And we'll start out the meeting with connections with our Citizens Advisory Council. Once a year, we formally have the CAC members come in and we have a dialogue and we discuss what they're doing, what they're working on, what they'd like to work on, what do they think is working, what do they think is not, and most importantly, it's getting feedback from them. And these meetings started some time ago, and I think it was Councilman Stahner was the one who started requesting these. And it's great because whereas I talked to a lot of the different commission members from the three different commissions with great regularity, it's nice to have the whole council be able to have these conversations as well.
Sure.
So it's kind of a level setting meeting, and we're proud of our commissions and appreciate them a great deal.
Mhm. And then into the budget, and you have different elements to talk about with some of the general information plus some human resource information and even down to water meters. So it covers a little bit of everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We have set our preliminary levy at 4.93%. And we can not go up from that number at all, but we can go down. So this is our time to meet with every one of the directors, and we'll be doing that over the next few months. Tonight, our city manager is going to be going over with a fine-tooth comb the 2026 general fund budgets, and our financial advisors from ABDO will be there as well. HR will come in and speak about the trends in COLA, which is the cost of living adjustment, and we'll see what the markets are bearing, what they're showing, and we will be making decisions on what that will be for every one of our employees. Um, and that would be employees that are not represented by unions.
Okay.
Then we will get into discussion about the water meters. As we'll talk about later, we are still replacing every water meter in the city,
Hmm.
and they're 26 years old. They have a lifespan expectancy of 25 years, so it's time to get those swapped out. We buy them in lots of 1,000, and it's time for the next grouping. We will go over the contract for the high school hockey games that we staff with police officers, and we will be looking at those rates as well as looking at the rates that the school is being charged for the ice time.
Hmm.
We'll discuss. Apparently, there is a fence down on Medicine Lake Road that we felt belonged to the county, and the county was able to prove that back in the late 70s, early 80s, we are the ones that constructed this fence.
Hmm.
Well, after 40 years, that fence has fallen into disrepair. So a fence needs to be replaced. So we'll just caucus about that briefly.
Hmm.
And then we will have a discussion about the pets under police supervision, or PUPs. It's our portion of the, for a lack of a better term, the animal pound, where we put dogs or cats, ferrets, whatever animals we take into custody that we're unable to identify the owner. And this is a facility that has grossly overgrown its population. And so there are some things that we're going to need to do. There are other member cities involved. And with that, uh, some of the other member cities are going to pull out and start their own, and the cities of New Hope, Robbinsdale are two of the other cities that are involved, and we will continue to move forward using pups
Mhm.
with some renovations.
Okay.
And then we have the last item is we had slated our Truth and Taxation meeting to be, I believe it is November 24th. Might be, no, October 24th. We had that slated, and in looking at statute, it says it has to be after October 24th.
Of course.
So that of course threw a wrench into our plans, and
Yeah.
we obviously want to be within statute. So we'll pick another date tonight and make sure that we're able to, provide that opportunity for people to speak,
Hmm.
as well as meet statutory requirements of
Very
when
good.
it is. So that's what
Excellent.
we have for tonight.
Busy night, and we will let people know when that new date is set. So if you're interested, you can stop by the city hall. Let's go to
Yeah.
some other things happening in the city. And again, we're taping on Monday the 15th. A few things coming up this week. On Thursday, the farmers market is back. Again, remind us when and where.
Yep, it's Thursday, September 18th from 3 to 7 p.m. And it's at the New Hope Church located at 4225 Gettysburg, which is actually at the northeast corner of 42nd and 169.
And then one day later, the golfers are heading to the Great New Hope Village Golf Course for a chamber event that we've been talking about for a while. Again, remind us what that great event is and some of the ways it benefits the community.
Absolutely. It is the Minneapolis Regional Chamber Golf Tournament. I think this is the 28th annual, and the proceeds go to five different nonprofits throughout our community. So we're excited to do that. It's always a great time, and people can still sign up for doing that if they want to join.
All right, and those are both public events. And then one
Hmm.
that's coming up this week that isn't a public event, but it has a lot of people from New Hope on it. This is a bus tour that happens on a yearly basis. So if you see a bus driving around on the 16th, this is why. What's happening, Mayor?
Yeah, this is the annual Commissioner Appreciation Citywide Bus Tour. And what this does is this large coach bus takes all of the commissioners and council members through the city, and we look at all of the things that the city's done within the last year, and also will preview things that we're looking at doing for next year.
Mhm.
So it's a great way to show the commissioners the fruits of their labor, and it's also our way of saying thank you for volunteering your time and your services to the city. So it's always a fun event.
All right, be watching for that bus traveling around town. Let's go to community development. A few items to touch on here in scattered site. I understand there's a new property that the city is working with.
Yep, there is 4973 Wisconsin. I just signed the purchase agreement along with the city manager and the property owner. We got that signed last week. Closing is set for September 30th, and the property is going to be a demolition and rebuild project. So we'll be looking forward to seeing what comes forward with our builders for this property.
One other note on a home in the city is 6048, and that is on Quebec. And again, you're hearing people comment about that, that they are appreciating the work.
Absolutely. 6048 Quebec. The framing of the home is now underway. This was a blighted property, and an area that residents that was no stranger to our law enforcement. And so we're happy to be able to provide a really quality home for the neighborhood and for the city.
One other item under community development, building permits and inspections. And we talked about this business, something that sounds pretty good is coming to the city and going through some of the process. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Little Sombrero Salsa. You may have seen it in some of your local grocery stores. They are currently, I believe, out of Mississippi. They're making an awful lot of salsa,
Mhm.
and it's really good. And they have decided they want to make New Hope their world headquarters. And so they have purchased 3984 Quebec, and they are waiting for equipment to be delivered and installed, shift operations up here. And again, it's a great use for that space, and we're really happy to have them coming to town.
Let's hop over to the police department. A few updates here. And the first relate to community engagement. The officers out doing some great things in the last week. What were they up to?
Yep, Reserve Officer Munson again delivered Meals on Wheels. People getting meals at their home that are unable to get out and get it themselves. This is a multi-city initiative. Actually, it goes across the state. So I'm proud of our officers for continuing to engage in this and helping people that have different challenges and making sure people are fed.
And another officer helping out drivers, not only drivers from New Hope, but also city employees. Is that right?
You bet. We need to have our staff go through defensive driving courses. The police department goes through a whole different type of training, but all of our city staff that drive city vehicles have to attend a training.
Mhm.
Officer Lee Larson taught defensive driving course at City Hall, and there were a lot of residents there. And the great thing about that is that if you attend a class like this, often there's a reduction in your driving insurance.
Mhm.
So that's something people may want to look into.
All right, go to the city's website, newhopemn.gov. You might find more about those classes coming up. You also might find information about the city's hosting a recent national association. Who was in town with the police department?
Yep, the Minnesota chapter of the National Black Police Officers Association was hosted by the New Hope Police Department. And Thursday night, I got to attend that meeting. It's an association that focuses a lot on Black police officers, recruitment, as well as events. And it's not solely isolated to Black police officers. This is for police officers across the state and country. They had a great meeting. They talked about a lot of community engagement things they have coming up and what they will be doing. And we do have active officers in this association from New Hope. And again, it's New Hope representing well.
Also in police reported incidents. Give us the update on the number you saw over the last week.
Yep, from September 4th to September 10th, we had 431 police-related incidents, and we've had ebbing and flowing of that number. We had several weeks where we were lower than, what we expected, what we'd seen in previous years
Mhm.
over that same week, and our numbers were right back around where we expect them to be. So our officers remain steadfast in taking their calls and getting to their calls in a timely manner, as well as having the time to go out and do the community engagement. I was driving down Boone the other day and saw two squads out at Hidden Valley Park and slowed down and looked, and there were two officers out playing basketball
Great.
with a bunch of kids. So it just that's so important to do.
Mhm. Mhm. Here's another example of that community engagement. A few pictures here of some officers recently getting some books out. What were they doing?
Yeah, in keeping with the theory of community policing, that's one of the police department's core values. Officers Jansen and Kuiper uh, spent time this week dedicated to the North Educational Center, and they spent time reading books to students of all
Mhm.
ages and abilities. They're building connections and making a positive impact, both in uniform and out of uniform. Especially the thing with kids and really all residents is that they see an officer, they see the uniform, and a lot of people don't realize that that's just a person. That's a person, I joke, in a costume. And you're there, but you're also maybe a dad, you're a son, you're a daughter, you're a sister, a brother, an aunt, or an uncle. You know, we're all people that are just doing a job.
Right.
And when we can take the time to really show the human side to it and be able to reach out and to touch the lives of people. That's huge. That's a great part of this job. And in speaking with each of the officers that were involved in this, I think they got more out of it than the students did. It was a great afternoon.
Isn't that often the case? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's now head to Public Works. One item to touch on here, and that is the infrastructure project. And a few more pictures to share here. Looks like they were busy out in the streets.
They really were. The contractor has completed the base course paving in the reclaim and overlay areas. The wear course paving in the mill and overlay areas at Northwood Park has been also done this week. The contractors were now starting to work on restoration and final adjustments to prepare the final wear course. So they're making great progress on this, and it's it's a big job, and making sure that citizens are least impacted as possible is important. So, our thanks to the residents who have had their streets redone this year. There have been inconveniences. There's no two ways about that, and we're sorry about that. We try to limit it, but thank you so much for your patience.
Let's go to Park and Rec. A couple updates to pass along here. The first related to the farmers market. We mentioned it earlier. It's coming up on Thursday. But a fun note here about one of the vendors at the market got some publicity.
Yeah. The Star Tribune did an article on September 5th, and it was one of the five best things that I ate this week.
Hmm.
And one of the New Hope Farmers Market vendors, Cafe Verte, was highlighted in this section for their honey butter toast that they serve. So again, great vendors at a great market, and was fun to see that and see them called out for
All
that.
right, that does sound very good. Also in Park and Rec, the golf course has been very, very busy, and I know there's a laundry list of people that have been out utilizing that court, not just regular players, but also many groups. Tell us about some of that activity.
I am constantly amazed at what's going on at our ice arena as well as our golf course. The golf course hosted the Cooper Class of 1981 golf outing, the 15th annual Augsburg Women's Hockey Night Golf Tournament, the Whiz Bang Golf Outing, and the Daddy Caddy Golf Outing.
Hmm.
They also hosted the Special Olympics golf outing along with the adult leagues. So we got a ton of people using this course.
Yep.
The course looks fantastic. I wasn't able to golf it with my knee injury, but I did get out into a cart and made it around the course, looking at it, evaluating. It looks fantastic,
Mhm.
and the staff there with the number of people going through. They're just doing a remarkable job keeping it in tip-top shape. Hats off to Ricky and the entire team there.
Yep, they do a great job. And again, more golfers out later this week with the Chamber. Final note to pass along in our update today, you mentioned it earlier, it's part of the work session, and that's the water meters. Just give us an update. How are things going? Where are we in the meter replacement right now?
Well, we're doing well. We do want to remind residents that if you do get an email or a letter, please get your water meter replacement scheduled. Mine is tomorrow. We have replaced 2,380 meters as of September 6th, and we have 3,434 to go. So please help us out and get that scheduled so that we can get these numbers needing to be replaced lowered drastically.
Sounds great. And one final note to pass along. This is the book to find out information about fall programs. So it's close upon us here. So if you haven't signed yet, look at some of these. Might be a way to get more of your family involved. Mayor Elder, thanks again for your time this week, for giving us the update, and you have a great week. We'll look to talk to you again next week.
Dave, thank you. You too, sir.
All right, and stick with us. Here's a look at some other things happening in the New Hope community. For more city stories, check out ccxmedia.org or find us on social media.